Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sensitive Podcast. I am your host, Kim Kimball, for highly sensitive and neurodivergent entrepreneurs. It feels like it has been a hot minute since I came on here and recorded an episode. It's really good to be back, and welcome back to you all. I'm so glad that you're here. Today, we are going to dive into a conversation that so many sensitive and neurodivergent entrepreneurs wrestle with, which is authentic visibility. You have likely built a business that you love if you're here and you're probably working with amazing clients and you likely know your craft inside and out. And still, you might feel when it comes to letting more of you be seen, there can still often be a wobble there. Maybe you have written something vulnerable and the thought of posting it makes your stomach flip, or maybe you have a sharper opinion, a spicier opinion about something in your field, but you're second guessing how it will land and then end up censoring yourself. Or maybe you've been quieter than you'd like because showing up feels like a performance that, quite frankly, you just don't have the energy for. If that's you, I want you to know that it makes total sense. And also, I want you to know that this is not a mindset problem. It's your nervous system doing its job, which is to protect you. When you share something that feels big, that feels tender, that feels bold, your body can register this as a threat. And that's why you might feel a freeze or the urge to delete or to pull the pull to hide. And the harder you push against that protection, the more your system will dig in, which is why just be more consistent never really works. And this is where a lot of the confusion about visibility seems to come in because we've been taught to see it as a performance instead of as expression. So let's talk about that today. So often when we hear the word visibility, we think it means forcing ourselves into what's trending, like the pointing reels, dancing, copying the latest influencer style, or whoever you think and have in your mind as the successful person that maybe you're trying to emulate, or squeezing your voice into any real strategies that maybe someone else's strategies that don't fit you. And if we can't make ourselves comfortable with that, we assume that we have visibility blocks. We make ourselves the problem. We think something is wrong with us. But visibility is not about performing someone else's script. It's about expressing what's true in your way. So for some, that honestly might mean not showing up or posting on Instagram at all. It maybe means long form writing for some people, Substack or podcasting, wherever your voice flows the most naturally. And for others, it might be realizing that they've actually been oversharing or being performative and instead creating boundaries so that when they do share, it feels grounded and genuine to them. Visibility is not about doing more or being louder or, as I've already mentioned, the latest trends. It's about learning to hold the charge of sharing what feels alive and most resonant and true for you to share in ways that your body can actually hold. But here's the tricky part. Even when we are showing up regularly, many of us are still hiding. Let's look at what that actually can look like, because you can be posting a lot, quote unquote consistent, which is never really the goal in my opinion anyway, and still be hiding. So that can look like sharing only polished, teachable tips, talking about your work, but never sharing maybe your more controversial or hot take perspective, staying in a professional tone, but leaving out your quirks, your artistry, the things that make you you, keeping your edges or your convictions off the table. So, in these situations, like on the surface, you are visible, but people can't actually feel you. And when they can't feel you, they can't be magnetized to your work. Visibility doesn't mean oversharing. It means letting through what feels authentic, resonant, and alive for you. That's when your presence becomes unforgettable and showing up starts to feel like connection, not a performance. And when that shift happens, when your visibility feels safe and true for you, the ripple effects that end up happening in your business are profound. So let's go about imagining the opposite now. Let's think about the last time you shared something that felt really good. Maybe it was a post that landed, maybe it was a client story, maybe it was a glimpse of your artistry. When it landed well, how did it ripple back? More engagement, new conversations, maybe even a client reaching out. And even more importantly, how did you feel? When visibility feels safe, here's what happens again and again. Sharing feels steady instead of draining. You don't need recovery for days. Your words land with more resonance. People recognize themselves more quickly in what you share. Aligned clients come closer faster because they feel your clarity. Opportunities multiply, not because you're doing more, but because people can really feel you and connect with you. You reclaim your energy. The time you used to spend in the post, delete, hide loops gets poured back into your best work and in your life outside your business. That is the ripple effect of safe visibility. And yet, there's a deeper piece here. Visibility will always touch our need for belonging, which is why the real work starts with belonging to yourself. For many of us, expression has carried a cost. We've been told we're too much, we're too intense, we're too sensitive, and our bodies remember that. So, of course, visibility can end up feeling like a threat to our belonging. But here's the double bind: belonging actually requires being seen. So, the work is not to stop caring what others think, because that's impossible, and asking yourself to not be human. The work is learning to not abandon yourself, to stay with yourself, no matter the reaction, to root into the truth that someone else's projections say everything about them and nothing about you and your worth. When you no longer reject yourself, visibility stops feeling like exposure and it becomes connection. So let's pause here for a moment together and feel what that might be like in your own body. So take a breath and picture yourself sharing something that maybe you know you've been holding back a little bit. And imagine your body responding not with bracing, but with steadiness. Maybe soften your shoulders. Keep your breath moving in a nice, easy pattern. And notice your nervous system saying, I'm safe. How much more possible does it feel to keep showing up when that is your body's story? This is why I created the Visibility Lab. It's a 4-week guided experiment where we get to play with visibility in ways that feel light, that feel safe, that feel doable for sensitive and neurodivergent entrepreneurs. Each week, you'll receive a short audio, a playful prompt, and access to a private space in Telegram where you can practice sharing your voice, your ideas, or your artistry, whatever is most alive for you, without the pressure of performance before you bring it to the wider world. It's not about pushing yourself harder. It's about giving your body the lived, felt sense experience of visibility that feels steady, that feels nourishing, and that even gets to feel playful. And when that happens, showing up stops being something you need to recover from and starts becomes becoming something that actually fuels your business and honestly every area of your life. Enrollment is $75, and when you join, you can invite a biz bestie in for free with you. We begin October 6th, and all the details are waiting for you in the show notes. If your body is craving visibility that feels lighter, where sharing doesn't cost so much, I'd love to welcome you inside. So thank you for spending this time with me today. I can't wait to see what you create when visibility feels like connection instead of performance. Until next time.